Good morning, viewers. It's George the Antique Nomad. I am at the first day of the Springfield Antique Show. Hi, I'm George the Antique Nomad. Come with me as I wander the country in search of valuable vintage, amazing antiques, and cool collectibles. We'll buy, sell, and trade at antique malls, shops, and shows, estate sales, flea markets, thrift stores, anywhere people go to find really interesting things that just aren't made anymore. So come on, let's go. I'm going to show you the booth in general, and I'll point out some of the things that you haven't seen before. I've already sold about $500 worth of stuff, so I want to try to show you what I've got before more of it goes away. I had the good fortune to be asked by a wonderful viewer who is a young 80 years old in New York. She used to be an antique dealer. She's retired. She wanted to share her collections with everybody out there in YouTube land. So I came and took a bunch of stuff, and we have it here to sell. We're outdoors, so it's okay to open the umbrella. And this is one of the pieces I got from the gal in New York. Isn't that great? Such a great size and color and graphic. Let's see, where do I start? Well, let's start up here, because some of these things came from her. The little blue pitcher is Blanco. The big fiber optic lamp is really fun. I've always wanted one of those. That was on my bucket list as a dealer, and now I have one. This chrome radio is rather significant. It does work, and it just because it's a chrome radio in working order makes it worth about $500 right out the door. But on top of it, it came from Neil Diamond to the gal who I'm helping, because her husband was involved with his bookkeeping at one point, and he supposedly got it from Barbra Streisand. So, of course, we can't prove that provenance, but I believe it because I saw all the other stuff that she had from Neil Diamond, and it clearly was obvious that they were friends and knew each other, so the story makes sense to me. The Pabst Blue Ribbon lights came from a mall in Michigan. And the Polaroid camera came from a recent buying trip. I think I only paid $15 for that. It's got the flash, and those fold-out ones sell for about $65 or $75. Rusty was a very bawdy singer, Rusty Warren. She did a lot of stuff in the early 60s. My father had recordings of it. My mother would never let us hear them, so I think that gives you a sense of the type of stuff that she did. I'm sure by modern standards tame, but quite risque in its time. This is really cool, little chalkware piece, White Sands, New Mexico. Just a souvenir piece, never seen that before. Another compass. The Olympics figure, the Yadro, came from the New York estate. I got several pieces of Yadro, Enbing, and Grondel, and related items. I've also been shopping up a storm. I really wanted to be ready for this show and have a lot of fresh stock, so the Champagne sign I just got when I was shopping with Jocelyn and Kat from Nurse Flipper and Drew and Dagny, so that was really fun. A bunch of signed baseballs, bunch of marbles from the old days. I figure people will have fun with those. We can sell them by the bag. The Black Label light I just got, it lights up and works. I sold all the jarts I had, and then I found another box, and you know, jarts are very popular right now, so I had to get that. This piece here I got from Misty, a Thrifter Junker Vintage Hunter, and it's been repainted in a way that I think is appealing, but it is a rather old basket when you look at the construction. We have a cool mailbox and a good old crock. And then let's go into the booth. Well, we're still relatively slow because it'll get busy enough later I won't be able to get in here to show you. This is signed by Willie Shoemaker, the jockey. That was a neat find at a mall in Ohio. I have some fresh pocket knives. The spangled looking one is a nice color. Chessie system and a bunch of others. This Billy Club I thought was different because it advertises the Defense Baton Sheriff's Relief Association, and it has an SRA mark on it, so that's the manufacturer. It also has a name on it. L.A. McQuitty owned this at one time. Billy clubs sell very well, actually. Everyone I've ever had has sold pretty quickly. This musical decanter plays How Dry I Am. And the railroad plates here, these are New York Central from the late 1950s, early 1960s era. I have a big selection of Bakelite utensils now, including an entire set of flatware from the 1940s. And lots of kitchen utensils. This just came, and this is a Viking glass piece with that sort of a turkey foot on it. 1960s, the ruby red is a little harder to find because it was more expensive at the time, so they didn't make quite as much of it. Good morning, folks.
Morning. How you doing?
Good. How are you? And they just look at you and wag.
Yeah, they look at you and think, wag their tail and think, what are you looking at, Dad?
There's jewelry. I gotta stay.
We're not hurrying.
There's a bunch of Yadro and Bing and Grondel that came from the New York estate. The drummer and musician, that's Yadro. The girl reading the book and the girl with the cat are both Bing and Grondel. And then this is a matte glaze, the Yadro with the lamp. Then of course I had to get the pink and blue colored Hager because I understand that Fatbird Finds are coming and they like this sort of stuff, so I wanted to show that off. Still have the Verona table and the Chase candlesticks and the Weller Lord Beak, but I also got this wonderful arts and crafts lamp. This is just beautiful. It's beautiful that it is solid cast iron. It has an interesting base. One of these just sold for almost $600 online. I think I have $450 online. I'm very excited to get that. Some nice quilts and patterned blankets. These came from an estate out west. And then I have the Bluebird chenille as well. Just got the muff out of the New York house. We are getting closer to that kind of weather. And then this abstract boat picture was another find in New York. I think that's really neat.
You made my day. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad you had fun.
I love that.
Well, a happy customer and her dog are rolling down the street, which is great. This with the lucite head, this cane, I thought was really neat. And I was happy to get that. That came from the New York estate as well. And then she had a large collection of Torquay pottery, and I bought some of the motto ware because I just think it's so much fun.
What was the name of that little alien piece?
Oh, it's Elzac, E-L-Z-A-C.
Thank you.
And they're called the Victims of Fashion line.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, she bought my Victims of Fashion pin, which was really cool, and I'm so glad because it was a nice lady who I am selling things for who's gone to assisted living, so she needs it, and I'm glad that it sold for her, and I'm glad the customer enjoyed it. This one is a nice little bunny, Royal Copenhagen. This is also Torquay pottery. This is more in the Artware line. They did a lot of Artware, and I did not realize until I saw her wonderful collection how many great pieces they did. They did a whole line of things that are grotesques. They did a whole line of cats. There were a lot of companies in Torquay, and they did Artware as well. There's a lot more to it than the motto ware that I was familiar with before. Little bird here is Seguso. You can see part of the original label left on him. She also had a Sabino squirrel. And then this is an interesting piece. This is a chop. See where it's got the mark on the bottom so you can actually do your wax stamping, but it's also sort of like a stress ball in a way, the way that it's carved. I just thought it was neat. I hadn't seen anything like it before. She hadn't either, and so I had to take that as well. This very cute diving bathing beauty came from the show in Louisville at the convention center where I was shopping last weekend. The sailboat bookends came from the New York estate, as did the little boxer figure, which I believe is Hagen Renneker. This little gal also came in the same group with the Diving Beauty. This one is Japanese. The Diving Beauty is German, but I love this with the big star she's sitting on. Love the elephant. Had to get that. I think these World War II WAC and Red Cross nurse dolls are so cute. This shows a difference in our attitudes at one time versus now. This was a child's mug. Let's get it where you can see it. J is for Jaguar, a tiger-like cat, but the handsome old codger looks best as a mat. So the idea is that we're going to make mats out of their fur because they're dangerous and horrible. Well, of course, nowadays we're trying to protect these animals, so different theory back in the 50s. The Turner piece in the box is neat. And I just got the Sowet at the estate sale in Michigan. This piece is a different American company, but it's similar to Hanoverware. And this is an American-made piece as well, but it's got the mark right here, and it says patent pending by Mascot. Mascot and Hanover made these in the 60s and 70s. If you look at the set of that 70s show, they have a bunch of the enameled ones. Those are the Hanoverware that are hanging in their patio. I just think they're really neat. You put a pillar candle in the middle there. Also very 70s, this Homeco butterfly wall panel. A lot of just cute and fun stuff under here. Another piggy bank. I always like this one with the polka dots. This guy's also a bank. This is another piece from the Torquay collection in New York. And this is the Lucky Devon Pixie from Seaton. This is made by Watcombe, which is one of the various, several different factories produced in Torquay. Help yourself to the jam. But the Devon Pixie is not a line you see as often, so I think that's probably a $45 or $50 piece potentially. These very curly-haired bison salt and pepper shakers are older, hadn't seen those before. And behind the McCoy piece we have what looks like Holly Hobby. I'm assuming Ellie Smith made that for them in the early 70s. And then the McCoy blacksmith under the chestnut tree. This one's a little harder to find. I got the McCoy smiley face cookie jar in Allegan. That was the only thing I had time to buy at the show. And then Pinocchio Carnival Chalkware from the 40s. That came from the show in Louisville. And this guy, the McCoy with the TV, they did a couple of different ones with the TV line. These are banks, and they were done in the early 70s. You could watch your money fill up in there. The cold paint often was worn off of these, so to find this one in this condition was pretty good.
Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Hey.
The harmonica and the Pabst Blue Ribbon 1950s bottle opener actually came from the New York estate. The Godey prints came out of the New York estate too. I've always liked those. They are 1950s reprints of the 1860s French fashion magazines. I just got this paint by number. He's very precise. Let's see what else is new to my stock. The family of poodles on the chain. I thought that was great. I did get some fresh jewelry. Some of it's sold already, but this nice carved lucite leaf is still with me. I got a different version of Moreau's Girl on the Swing. A little older one. That's a pretty piece. A little bit more jewelry here that just came in, the Italian beads, in both the black and the blue. She apparently wanted one of each, and there they are. And the wooden pheasant carved, I'll have to take him out of this little plastic, but he's a cute thing that I hadn't had before. This is a nice folding triple mirror. This also came from the New York estate. She really had lovely things. It's in good condition. These were for traveling. They could also hang on a wall. They're from about 1900. It's got its original paper on the back. So that's a very handsome piece. They're usually pretty quick sellers. I got several pieces of Fenton custard glass and Burmese glass that glow like crazy under a black light, of course. Let's see here, we'll put the fish upright. The heart-shaped dishes are Valona Star. That's a ceramic company out of 1940s, 50s California. It has a good mark. They did a lot of cute salt and pepper shakers and little figural pieces and kitchenware, but the 3 hearts, that was something I hadn't seen before. I got some various Limoges pill boxes and this Herond painted box. Herond is a great company out of Hungary, and there's starting to be a lot of demand here for it because the hand painting is so good. There's transfer and hand painting in here, but mainly hand painted details, and there's their mark, and it says hand painted right on the bottom. That's probably a $50 to $60 piece, even though it's small because it's such good quality. The Shelly Blue Rock on the bottom. There's another Fenton Burmese piece.
It's a nice shape, except for, it's got that little spot on it.
And then a little more Torquay. These are match strikers. So here is the rough part where you would actually strike the match. Oh, that one, the sulfur went off in the night in the dampness, so I may not be able to strike a match for you today. In any event, that's how it would work. And this is also Torquay. This is very cute. It's not lost what a friend gets. So be nice to your friends. Very pretty purple color there. The Art Nouveau book slide came from the New York estate. This is a very, very pretty book slide from about 1900. We don't see a lot of Art Nouveau in this country. The mirror also was from there. The silvering is not good on the mirror, but the shape of the mirror is just fantastic. So I had to have that. Blue poodles. The cigarette. That's a gentle reminder to put out your cigarette, and that is also Torquay pottery. This guy is great. This is Spiritosi Rimini of Italy, and it's an owl. So it's kind of the perfect motif for this time in history because people are really into Vistosi and very much into owls. So that was a nice piece. This is Kent Artware. This came from the New York estate. So did the Murano pair. So did the Coben style by Dansk fondue set. And it even has the original Dansk marked fondue forks, which is pretty cool. This is worth about $100 these days. The Hager Musicians 1, 2, 3, I thought those were really neat. I got those in Zanesville, Ohio. This nice plate out of an old fish set has a good shape. That's from about 1910, also from the New York estate. Still loving the peacock chenilles. I've sold a few, I've got a few left.
Wherever they went to camp, they stick their bags.
Got to take that price tag that I paid for this piece off because this actually came from Misty at Thrifter Junker Vintage Hunters store. It is Fenton's Vasa Marina in the fall colors. This was done in the 1960s with a little bit of spangle in there. See the silver flecks? This was a 1960s line based on a Victorian style of spangled glass. I thought this Aboriginal art piece from Australia was interesting for the form. Sailboat mirror is a recent acquisition. I also got this, which is a beer sign, and it's plastic, but it's 1976, so it's bicentennial. It's for Iron City Beer from West Virginia. It says, "Mountaineers are born to be free." Some other fun and interesting things. I have some Navajo sand paintings I just got. The last batch I had sold to Kat, the nurse flipper. These are cigar bands. This was a popular thing around 1900, was saving cigar bands and turning them into little framed pictures. And this is neat. It's got 4 of Prince George before he became King George V. So this is Edwardian period, right about 1900. Did get some Coca-Cola stuff, a nice ice pick and the Star X little bottle opener there. This Western set with the brands just came to me from Ohio. It seemed like it needed to go farther west, and it is. That neat celluloid fan with all of the color in it that looks sort of end of day-ish, that is out of the New York estate as well as this one.
Okay, right there. Okay. It's too wet yet for her.
This bowl is beaded African. I think it's Maasai. And the Native American dipping for water. And while I'm getting that, you can take a look at this fitted cigar holder in Bakelite in its original case. It's always nice when they have the presentation cases with them. There was some other smoking related stuff in Bakelite that came from there, but the one in the case was the most interesting to me. Good morning.
That's a nice piece right there. Did you see that one?
See, this is the one I have, but it's military. Same one.
If I can help you at all, let me know.
Okay, thank you.
Not even a
Here's a better picture. He's very cool. He's got a copyright John Drescher Company, New York. This would be 1920s. As far as quilts, I've got this really great one with the crosses on it. I think this is very nice, 1930s. I like how they used a pattern for the border instead of plain white. Hello there. Good, how are you? And then this is a cool chenille. No. This is another Torquay piece. This one is a chamber stick. Be the day weary or the day long, at last it ringeth to evensong. Thank you, you too, have fun. And it's got that nice fleur-de-lis painting in the middle of it. It's just really sweet stuff. I love the shapes. I've always thought a lot of Torquay, and it's just really fun to have some interesting pieces that aren't just sort of, you know, flat little pieces with a motto on it. There's a nice mirror etched behind here that you can see me in. Hello there. And I guess while I'm at it, I should say thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't, because then you can click that button to be notified of new videos. I have a live channel. I've got a lot of social media links in the description, so take a look and have fun. And let's keep going and have fun here and see what else there is. The silhouette is new to me. I have smaller ones, but I was out of the larger size, so I was happy to get that. This is a nice piece, Latticino. I bought this when I was shopping with Jocelyn and Kat and Dagny, Crazy Lamp Lady, Nurse Flipper, and Flying Pig Thrifts, for those of you who follow their channels. This came from the New York estate. This is Royal Copenhagen. The nude is very sweet and slightly sorrowful in a very Scandinavian way. What else have you not seen before? This little cocktail set is Cranberry Flash. These came from the New York estate. These are Morelli. And there is a set of 8. It's a good shape, it's a good designer. I have a good price on them. We'll see if they last the day. This smoke glass that you're seeing through, probably rather than really seeing, is Morgantown glass from West Virginia. It's the same color of stuff they made to go along with Russell Wright dinnerware. The fleur-de-lis bookends came from the shopping trip with Jocelyn. It's got the fleur-de-lis stamped all the way up the inside. This Philadelphia manufacturing was 1950s vintage. And I just thought they were attractive, and I do a lot of business up the Ohio River, and a lot of the cities have the fleur-de-lis because of the early French involvement with the area. So there's people who collect. I bought the silver McCoy piece because the silver is a hard glaze to find on this. They didn't take the string off for me. I will have to get some scissors. Hello there.
Hi there.
Let me know if I can help you at all.
Thank you.
The little owl here looks like Widco, but it actually was purchased at JCPenney. You can see their old tag of $6 from the 1970s. I know a bunch of people are going to try to say it's $6. It's not. They're a little more expensive than that now. Not a ton, but not $6. This frog is great. He's Niloke. He's one of the first of their molded lines in the late 20s, early 30s, made in Arkansas. I just think he's got such a great expression. Let's see what else is in here. I sold a bunch of fabric stuff already. This display was really cute and had a lot of contrasting color, and then the color went away because the fabric went away. But I do have this nice Fenton lime green custard, which glows like crazy under a black light. And then these are very cute. These are sconces. And there's a pair. These came from the house in New York. They were on the wall, and I just loved them and had to have them. Hand-painted Italian from about 1970, and there is a big collector market for that sort of thing now. I think I've shown the camel inkwell before, but I'm very proud of it, so I'll show him again. From about 1900. And then down here, a very large tonneau piece. This big picture here with the bird on it. I just think that's a great design. Still have the Minton Queen's piece that was on Antiques Roadshow. Still working to sell that. Got a little bit of paper stuff. I didn't bring a lot because there's a lot of dew point here, but I did get 2 of the Coolidge pictures of the dogs playing poker. This is the one where the wives come in and bust up the game. The Royal typewriter, and it works, and boy, people are really into typewriters now. Thanks for joining me again in the fun and fascinating antique community here where online meets the real world. Please click the subscribe button below, click the bell to be notified when new videos upload, leave a comment below, and hit thumbs up to like this video. Links to our online social media daily posts and our items for sale are in the description. This is George at the Antique Nomad. Bye for now.